So hello everybody, let's get started. We're gonna come onto our mats and we're gonna lie down on our back. So you can just kind of bend the knees, grab onto the backs of the thighs, slow roll all the way down. Maybe even hug the knees in towards the chest. Give yourself a little rock side to side before we get settled in. And then whenever you're ready, you're gonna bring your feet back down to the floor. Bring your feet together, knees wide. So we're coming into that Baddha Konasana, that supine Baddha Konasana or butterfly pose. And if this becomes too intense on the inner thighs, you can take your blocks or your blankets and just wedge it underneath the thighs. Otherwise, if it feels good, we're just gonna hang out here. And we'll bring our hands to our low belly. Close through the eyes. And just start to really sink in here and tap into the breath. Just beginning to notice what our breath is doing. Beginning to notice how the body feels. And really just stepping into the place of the observer, the place of the witness, as we start to let this pose really kind of sink in. And we just notice the way that we're feeling this morning. Noticing your energy levels, noticing where you may or may not be holding tension, and noticing the way your breath flows effortlessly in and out of the lungs. Noticing the rise and fall of the hands on the belly. Noticing the expansion in the belly, the ribs, and the chest. Just noticing everything that's arising for you. Maybe even beginning to deepen your breath just a little bit. Finding longer inhales through the nose and longer exhales all the way out. So as we're beginning to deepen the breath, let's try to draw our breath starting from the bottom of the belly, starting from the sacrum, and moving the breath all the way up the torso. So at first your belly's going to expand, then the ribs and chest will expand. Finally feeling everything rise all the way at the top, and exhaling, reversing that flow. So chest begins to fall, ribs begin to fall, and belly begins to fall. So it's going to be like a wave, inhaling from the bottom up, and then exhaling from the top down. Using this time to really tap into the inhales and exhales while also just feeling completely supported and completely relaxed by the earth, by our mats, by our home. Find a few more breaths like this. And really start to notice the way those inner thighs are starting to open up, the way your hip flexors are starting to lengthen. Just find about 3 more breaths. Last inhale, filling from the bottom to the top. And last exhale, releasing from the top all the way to the bottom. From here, let's reach down, grab onto the outsides of the thighs, the outsides of the knees, and gently pick the knees up to the sky. You can spread your feet about mat distance apart, and then we'll just take a gentle windshield wiper of the knees side to side. Arms can just be down by your side. And then on your next way back through center, we're going to pause and then gently hug the thighs in towards your chest. Give yourself a little hug. Maybe add that gentle rock side to side, or maybe take some little circles here. And maybe switching, going that other way. Start to just even everything out. And release through that spine, resetting here. Once you come back through stillness, let's reach down, grab onto the outsides of the feet. Inhale as you peel your feet open and knees draw in towards the armpits for our happy baby pose. Make sure we're flexing through those toes. And then again, you can maybe add that gentle rock side to side here. Let's find one more long breath. Then on your next inhalation, draw the thighs back in towards the chest. Wrap the arms around the fronts of the shins. Give yourself that hug. And then option to just stay here with your spine drawn down towards the earth. Or you can start to round here and draw your forehead and knees together, curling up into a tight little ball. Just getting that stretch on the back side. One more big breath. And we'll slowly release all the way back down towards the floor. From here, let your arms relax and bring your feet back down towards the mat. So knees are going to be pointing up to the sky. Your heels are going to be close enough into your seat that you can kind of brush the backs of the heels with your fingertips. We want our legs to be about hip distance apart. And then here's where you have the option to use your block, your towel, or blanket. So from here, we're just going to inhale. Start to lift the hips up. So we're coming into that bridge pose. And we're going to hang out here for just a few breaths. So really try to draw your belly into the spine. Try to wrap the ribs around the abdominal muscles. So we're feeling that really active wrapping of the abdominals. Hips keep lifting higher each time you inhale. So we're keeping that belly engaged. Maybe you're going to tilt the pelvis forward. So we're trying to lengthen through that lower spine. Let's find 2 more breaths in our bridge pose. Keep that belly heated up. Big inhale. One more breath here. Beautiful. Now from here, if you have that block, towel, or blanket, you're going to take your block or whatever support you have, and you're going to place it right underneath the sacrum. Then once you feel like you're having it in a good spot, drop the hips down. So we're going to be landing on that block, support, blanket, towel, whatever it is here. Otherwise, if you don't have a block, just drop your hips all the way back down towards the floor. And then we're going to hang out here. So we want the block or the towel or blanket to be right on the bony part of like your tailbone, hip bone, sacrum area. So if it's a little too high, it's going to be going right into your lumbar spine. So you want it to be right on that bony part of the hips. And it should just feel really nice. So once we're here, we're just going to let our arms kind of open out by our side. You're either in supported bridge or your hips should all be all the way down on the floor. And we're just going to take a few breaths. So feeling the hips starting to relax, the belly starting to relax. Refocus your attention to those long inhales and long exhales, finding that wave once more where we inhale from the belly up and exhale from the chest down. One more breath, just like this, and either supported bridge or relax down on the mat. Beautiful. Then from here, we're going to plant our hands down by our side. Palms are going to be face down. Wherever you are, on your next inhale, you're going to start to draw the thighs in towards the chest and then send the legs straight up to the sky. So we're coming into that legs up the wall, either in your supported legs up the wall with a prop underneath your hips, or you can be all the way down on the ground. But once we're here, we want to relax through the feet, maybe even point and flex through those toes, maybe even circle out the ankles a little bit. And we're just going to pause here, so allow everything to relax, allow your shoulders to relax, your belly relaxes, the hips relax. And just keeping that 90-degree angle. So feet are stacking right on top of the knees, knees are stacking right on top of the hips. We're creating that L shape. And allow the pose to just soften, allow the pose to do the work. So we're draining, reversing that blood flow, draining any lactic acid, any tension, any swelling, or any tightness through the legs should be draining out from the feet and legs. Big long inhales and exhales here. And maybe even bring your awareness to the shoulders and neck, making sure we're not hugging those shoulders in towards our ears. We're really drawing the shoulders down and away, so we're creating that space for the collarbones, the space for the neck, to find that really nice long length throughout the entire spine. Let's find about 3 more breaths here in our legs up the wall, our supported legs up the wall. One more long breath here. Then we're slowly going to start to hug the thighs back in towards the chest. Give yourself another hug. Hips are either still on that block or support, or hips are down on the earth. If it feels good, you can take a small, gentle rock side to side, just making sure if you're on that support or on that prop that you're not rocking off. We're just taking small, little, gentle, mindful movements. And we'll gently find our way back to center. Keep the thighs hugged in towards the chest. We're going to start to grab hold of that right thigh. Extend the left leg all the way out long on the floor. So again, you can be on that prop or just all the way down on the ground, your choice. So once we're here, we're going to take that grasp around the front of the right shin. Relax through those left leg and left foot. Then we're going to inhale, hug that right thigh in towards the chest, really nice and tight. And then as you exhale, you're going to walk the right thigh over to the right side. So your quad muscles should be drawing in towards the outside of the right ribs. Your knee is trying to draw up in towards your right armpit. We should be feeling a really big stretch through both hip flexors. And if you're like me, I like to just grab with one arm, and I usually let my left arm kind of relax down by the other side. But if that doesn't feel good, you can always keep both hands on the leg. And we're just going to breathe here. So each inhale, you want to hug that leg in really nice and tight. And each exhale, you want to kind of draw it off to the right side. Focusing our breath to those hip flexors, those inner thighs. Start to find about 3 more breaths. Each inhale, we hug the leg in a little bit closer, a little tighter. Each exhale, we walk it off to the side a little bit more. Let's find 2 more breaths. Really breathe here. Last one. Then on your next inhale, you're going to draw that right thigh back onto the chest. Flex through those right toes. As you reach your right arm around, it's going to grab on from the outside of the right foot. And then flex through that right foot as you draw that right knee in towards your armpit, coming into a half happy baby pose. Really big breath through that left hip flexor and that left quad muscle. Two more long breaths here in this half happy baby. Last one. Then on your next inhalation, slowly start to bend through that right thigh. Draw your right thigh back onto the chest. Maybe give yourself a quick little pull as you hug the thigh in really nice and close. And then from here, we're slowly going to release. Draw that right foot back down towards the floor. Both arms are going to come down by your side. Inhale as you peel that left leg up to the sky for a half, legs up the wall. So right knee is still bent, left leg straight up to the sky. Maybe point and flex through that left toes. Maybe circle out the ankle a little bit. And then on your next inhalation, we're going to start to bend through that left leg. Draw the thigh in towards the chest and start to bring the right into meet. So giving yourself another quick little hug, a quick little reset. An option to stay here for 2 more breaths, or you can reach down, grab onto the outsides of the feet, draw the knees towards the armpits for your happy baby pose. And if at any time the block is starting to become too much, you can always adjust it to make sure it's staying on that bony part of the spine, or you can just remove the block or towel entirely. So on your next inhale, let's hug the thighs back and towards the chest. Give yourself another quick hug. And this time we're going to keep the left leg hugged in, extend the right leg all the way out long on the mat. So allow that right foot and ankle to just kind of relax and roll open as if you were going into your Shavasana. Then from here, keep hugging that left thigh in towards the chest with your inhale. And as you exhale, you're just going to let the leg fall out to the left side. So that quad should be coming in towards the outer left ribs. Your knee should be attempting to draw up in towards your left armpit. Option to grab hold with both arms, or you can let that right arm just relax down by your side. And we should be feeling that length through the right psoas, the right hip flexor, maybe even into that inner right thigh a little bit. We have about 5 breaths here, so relax through the shoulders, relax through the belly, relaxing through the feet and ankles. So the only thing on our mind, the only thing that we're really focusing on is that stretch and our breath. Maybe even trying to focus your breath being sent to the spaces we're feeling the stretch, we're feeling that length. Let's find 2 more breaths on this side. And while we're here for these last few breaths, notice what your mind is doing. Notice if thoughts are starting to arise for you, and if they are, we want to just lovingly release them. So we're always doing that dance, that ebb and flow of bringing our awareness back to the breath. And let's find 1 more inhale and exhale. Then on your next inhalation, draw the thigh back onto the chest. Grab onto the outside of the left foot, flex through the toes, and draw that left knee in towards your armpit, coming into that half happy baby pose. Right leg is still out long, right foot is relaxed. Let's find 1 more big breath. Beautiful. Then from here, gently start to bend through that left knee. Draw the thigh back onto the chest. We'll slowly hug the right leg into meet. Notice how the front side of the hips feel. Maybe take that gentle rock side to side. And then from here, we'll plant the left foot down on the floor. Extend the right leg all the way up to the sky. So coming back into that half, legs up the wall, maybe point and flex through that right foot or circle out that ankle again. And then whenever you're ready on your next inhale, we'll bend that right knee into the chest. Draw the left leg in to meet. Give yourself another hug. Option to hang out here, or you can take that happy baby once again. And we're just noticing how the body feels, noticing how the hips feel now that we lengthen through that front side. Notice how your belly feels. One more long breath. Then on your next inhalation, draw the thighs back in towards the chest. We'll slowly plant the feet back down on the floor. Knees are going to be pointing straight up to the sky. So we're coming back into that supported bridge or that bridge pose. We're just going to hang out here. Try to lengthen through that front side body. So really try to create space between the psoas, the belly, the hips. One more breath. All right, then on your next inhale, slowly start to draw the belly in towards the spine. Press into the feet as you lift the hips up, coming back into that bridge pose. If you have a block or a prop underneath you, you're just going to remove it off to the side. Then slowly, one vertebra at a time, we're going to roll all the way back down. Hips are going to be the last thing to drop down towards the floor, or down towards the mat. Once we're here, just give yourself a moment to reset. Hips are grounded all the way down towards the earth. Maybe even take that gentle windshield wiper side to side. Maybe you got some hip pops. If you're like me, my hips always like to crack. And then we'll slowly meet back with knees in center. Draw your thighs in towards your chest. Give yourself another hug. Option to stay here, or you can round through the spine and draw your forehead towards your knees. Curling up into that tight little ball. We'll gently relax all the way down. Grab onto the outsides of the feet. Knees come towards the armpits. Find your happy baby pose. And maybe notice if this one is a little bit more open than the first one that we did in the beginning. Notice if your hips are starting to kind of open and widen a little bit. Feel that length through those inner thighs. Maybe you can draw your knees down towards the earth a little bit more. One more big breath. From here, draw your knees and thighs back in towards the chest. And then we're going to plant the feet back down on the floor. Knees are going to be hip distance apart. Bring your arms down by your side and inhale as you send that right leg up to the sky for that half legs up the wall. Then we're going to bend through that right knee. Connect your ankle to the top of the left thigh. Flex through those right toes. You can stay here if this feels good. If you want to go a little deeper, let that left foot float up off the mat. Grab onto the back of the thigh, of the left thigh. Keep flexing through those right toes. Press the right knee forward. And as you exhale, use your breath to draw the thighs in towards the chest. So coming into that figure 4 position. I always like to close my eyes here so I can really focus my attention towards the breath, being sent to that outer right hip, that outer right IT band. So if that resonates for you, you can always close your eyes. It seems to just like help me kind of tap in a little bit more. So big inhales through the nose. Big exhales. Feeling your belly rise and fall. And with each exhale, we want to try to challenge ourselves to draw the legs in a little bit closer each time. Let's find about 2 more breaths here. Deep breath in and out. Last one. Now we'll slowly begin to release our grasp of the hands. Let that left foot slowly float back down towards the mat. We're going to keep that right ankle connected to the left thigh. Open your arms out to either goalpost, or you can bring your arms out to a T. If you're short on space, you can just come to that goalpost, that 90-degree angle of the elbows. But if you have enough room, open your arms out to that T position. So keeping that right ankle crossed over the left thigh, take an inhale. And then as we exhale, we're going to start to drop the legs over to that left side. So your left leg should relax all the way down to the floor. Your right knee should still be pointing up to the sky. Once you're here, you're going to shift your gaze over that right shoulder to find our spinal twist. And now if this is enough for you, you can just hang out here and breathe. If you want more, you're going to take your left hand, place it to the inside of the right thigh, so your adductor muscle. And then you're just going to straighten through the arm as you kind of press the knee forward towards the top of the mat. As you're doing this, you're still continuing to gaze over that right shoulder. You should be feeling a really big stretch if you're pressing through that psoas muscle and hip flexor. Let's find 2 more breaths. And last one. Then slowly from here, start to release. Let that left arm come back down towards the mat if it was lifted. On your next inhale, we're going to draw both knees back up to the sky. Uncross that right leg, plant the foot back down on the floor, and then you can maybe windshield wiper both legs side to side, maybe give yourself a hug, maybe that happy baby position once again. So just a little bit of free flow movement, taking your time. And then we'll meet with knees pointing back up to the sky. This time, inhale, extend that left leg up to the sky, to that half legs up the wall. And then we're gonna bend through the knee, flex the foot, ankle connects towards the right knee, flex through those left toes, press the left knee forward, and then either staying here or let that right foot float up off the mat as you grab onto the back of the right thigh. Then from here, you can gently hug both legs in towards your chest, coming into that figure 4 position. And again, notice what our breath is doing. Notice what your mind is doing. Notice if the body is trying to tense or hold anything anywhere. And then we just want to slow everything down, let everything release with your breath. Coming back into those wave-like breaths where they start from the bottom and rise to the top. And then exhale from the top towards the bottom. And with each exhalation, it's an opportunity to find a little bit more depth. Maybe hug the legs in a little bit closer. Two more breaths on this side. Last breath. We're gently going to release, allow that right foot to float back down towards the mat. Once here, just kind of reset as you start to open your arms out into that goal post or that T position. Take an inhale, and then as you exhale, allow the legs to fall over towards the right. Left knee is pointing straight up to the sky, and then start to shift your gaze over that left shoulder. You can stay here and breathe, or you can take that right hand, place it to the inside of the left thigh, and then just straighten the arm as you press the knee forward towards the top of the mat. Big, long inhales and exhales. Really find that space that's being created through the hips. 2 more breaths. Last one here. Then on your next inhalation, let the knees float back up to the sky. Uncross that left leg, plant it back down on the floor. You can windshield wiper side to side. Maybe hug the thighs in towards the chest, or come into that happy baby once again. And then wherever you are, we're gently going to hug both thighs in towards the chest. And then let's grab onto the outsides of the feet. Open back up to that happy baby if you aren't already there. And now you can stay here for 2 breaths, or if it's in your practice and you want to go a little bit deeper, you can maybe open the legs into that straddle position. And if you're like me, I like to rock kind of gently in all of my poses, so I like to take little small rocks side to side. 1 more breath here. And then whenever you're ready, hug both thighs in towards the chest. And we're gently going to start to rock our way up to our seat. Taking your time, maybe going at it a few times. And once you're all the way up to your seat, we're going to bring our feet together, knees wide. So coming back into that Baddha Konasana here. I'm going to turn around and face you guys just so I can see. And so you guys can see. So grabbing onto the ankles, let's walk our feet as close into our torso as we can. So we're going to take this Baddha Konasana two ways. This first variation is going to be getting into the inner thighs. The second one's going to get into those outer hips again. So walking those feet super close into your torso. Inhale as you start to grow your spine nice and long. Exhale as you hinge forward with a nice flat back. So try to keep that length through the crown of the head. Hinging forward as far as you can. Once you can't go any farther, then we can round. So imagining that cat spine, bring your face down towards your toes. And then using your breath, using your focus, using your awareness, try to draw those knees out to either side of the mat. Find your breath once again. Inhaling, maybe you find a little bit more length. Exhaling, maybe you round forward and find a little bit more depth. Let's find one more big long breath here. Beautiful. On your next inhalation, we're just going to rise up halfway. Lengthen your arms out long in front of you. So they're going to stretch all the way out towards the top of the mat. I'm still kind of hinging forward here. Now big inhale, open your chest through the arms, maybe even lift the gaze, lengthen through the crown of the head. And as you exhale, you're going to walk the hands over to the right side of the mat. So my right arm is kind of in line with my right knee. My left arm is going to be kind of in line with my right foot. Everyone's range might be a little bit different, but that's what works for me. So once you're here to this right side, inhale as you grow your spine super long. Now this time, exhale, you're going to start to round. So I tuck my chin in towards my chest and try to bring my forehead down towards my right shin. We should be feeling a really big stretch through that left side, all the way throughout your QL muscle, your IT band, maybe even into that left hip a little bit. Big long inhales and exhales. We just have two more. Inhale. One last breath. Try to press that left knee down towards the earth. Then on your next inhalation, you're going to start to walk your way back through center. And as you exhale, you're going to take the hands over to the left side of the mat. So my left arm is lining up with that left knee. My right arm is kind of in line with my left foot. Inhale, lengthen your spine. And then as you exhale, start to round. I tuck my chin towards my chest and try to bring my forehead down towards that left shin. Again, really actively pressing that right knee down towards the earth, and it's just energetically, almost like gravity is pulling that right knee down. We should be feeling lots of length through that right side. Two more breaths here. And last one. Then on your next inhalation, start to walk your way back through center. And then slowly start to press yourself on up, coming up to our seat. Keep those feet together. You're just going to extend the legs out. So we're widening that diamond shape. My cat just came to say hi to you guys. This is Cricket. So now we're widening that diamond shape. Feet are going to be together, knees out wide. Grab onto those ankles. Inhale, sit up nice and tall. Same thing, we're going to exhale, hinge forward as far as you can with that nice flat spine. Once you've reached your edge and you can't go any farther, then you're going to round down and bring your face down towards your feet. So we should feel this stretch kind of shift back into those outer hips, those outer IT bands. We're just going to be here for about 2 more breaths. Last one. And on your next inhalation, slowly start to roll all the way back up to our seat. We're going to bring our hands to the shins, sitting up nice and tall. Inhale as you start to arch the back, lift the chest, throat, and gaze as you find a very soft, very gentle cow. And then as we exhale, we're gonna start to round through the spine, chin in towards the chest as you start to find your version of a cat. Inhale, open back up, peel the chest through the arms. Exhale, round through the spine. One more round just like this. Inhale, arch the back, lift the chest and gaze. Exhale, round through the spine. On your next breath in, come back to that neutral spine. Walk the feet back in close towards your center line. So we're just kind of hugging those legs in nice and close once more. Then from here, we're gonna start to kind of rock our weight into that left hip. Extend the right leg out long to the side. So we should have some space between that left foot and your right thigh. That left foot is not coming all the way into the right thigh. We wanna have a little bit of space. So if you just leave that left foot where it is, you should be perfectly set up for this next one. So we want to flex through those right toes, plant that right hand down towards the ground. Inhale as you reach the left arm up, and then exhale, hinge and fold over towards that right side. Big breath in to lengthen. Exhale to fold a little deeper as you energetically pull that left knee down towards the earth. So we should be feeling really big stretch through that left side body. One more breath here. Then on your next inhale, you're gonna rise back to center and then shift your torso so it's gonna be square over that right thigh. Plant both hands down to either side of the leg. Keep flexing through that right foot. So that right foot should be so engaged that maybe the heel is even lifting up off the floor. So big inhales, we lengthen the spine nice and long towards the sky. Exhales, you start to fold forward, folding over that right thigh. Chest is coming down to the thigh, nose is coming down to the knee. One more big breath. Then as we inhale, slowly begin to rise all the way back up. And then from here, we're gonna kind of spiral towards the left side. So your left hand's gonna come down behind your left hip. Inhale as you start to reach that right arm up, press into the left hand, maybe even lift the hips, arch the back, reaching those right fingertips back behind you. One more big breath in here. Exhale as you slowly lower the hips all the way back down towards the floor. So once we're here, let's lengthen that left leg all the way back out long. So we're coming into that straddle position. Both feet should be reaching out to either side. And let's flex through those toes. Plant the hands right underneath the shoulders. Inhale as you grow your spine super long. Exhale as you start to kind of walk yourself down as far as you can go, coming into your version of a straddle. So you can either kind of lengthen the arms out long, maybe prop yourself up on your forearms or elbows, or if you have one of your props in hand, maybe a block or a bolster or blanket, you can take your block and just kind of chill on the block. We want to make sure we're actively flexing through those toes here, so toes should be pulling back towards your face. Inhale to grow your spine long. Exhale to sink and melt a little bit deeper towards the floor. We'll find about 3 more breaths here. Use your exhales to take the pose a little bit deeper each time. All right, one more breath here in the straddle. Recheck in with those feet. Then on your next inhalation, you're slowly gonna press yourself on up. So we're sitting right back up on those sits bones. If you were using a prop or a bolster or something, go ahead and move it out of your way. We're gonna keep the left leg long. Start to bend that right knee. So we're just kind of drawing that right leg in towards your, cricket, move out of the way, knowing. All right, so same thing here. We don't want that right foot all the way in towards the left thigh. We wanna have a little bit of space. We're gonna ground the left hand down right in front of that left thigh. Inhale as you reach the right arm up to the sky, and then exhale as you start to hinge and fold over towards the left. Energetically pressing that right knee down towards the floor. Lots of length from that right wrist all the way towards that right hip. One more big long breath here. Inhale as you rise back up. Let the right hand fall right behind that right hip. You're gonna point through those left toes. Inhale as you kind of circle sweep that left arm up and back around. So we lift the hips, arch the back, lift your chest, throat, and gaze. Little back bend. One more inhale. Exhale as you slowly lower it all the way back down. Once we're here, we're gonna extend that right leg back out long. So we're coming back into that straddle position. Flexing through the toes. Inhale as you plant the hands down, grow your spine nice and long. And then exhale as you start to fold forward, coming back into that straddle position. Maybe trying to take yourself a little bit deeper this time. If you were using blocks last time, maybe try to remove the blocks. Or you can maybe straighten the arms out long and melt the chest all the way down towards the earth. So never trying to force or push anything here, just letting your breath and your body do the work and allowing gravity to just kind of keep pulling you down towards the floor. Let's find one more long breath in our straddle. Keep flexing through those toes. Beautiful. Then on your next inhale, you're going to press yourself on up. And let's slide those legs all the way together. Once you're there, you can maybe shake it out. We just did a lot of work in those hips, so give your legs a little bit of a break. Maybe rock it out, shake it out, whatever you need to do. Maybe even press up into reverse tabletop if that feels good for you and you want a little bit more opening through the chest. But whenever we're ready, we'll come back to stillness. And let's keep our feet about hip distance apart, so about a fist distance in between those thighs here. You're gonna walk the flesh out from underneath your sits bones, so those sit bones are grounded right down towards the earth. Flex your feet back towards your face, so very active dorsiflexion. Inhale as you reach your arms up to the sky. Exhale as you start to fold forward, chest to the thighs, nose to the knees. And since we haven't really given any attention or love to those backs of the legs yet, if they're really tight this morning, you can bend through the knees and draw your thighs in towards your chest, so it's not so intense on those hamstrings and calves. But we're just gonna find about 2 to 3 more breaths here. So inhale, find a little bit more length in the spine. Exhale as you fold a little bit deeper. 2 more breaths. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Last time, inhale, lengthen. Exhale, melt forward. On your next inhalation, we're gonna slow roll all the way back up to our seat. Keep the right leg out long, bend through the left knee, draw that left foot in towards the inner right thigh. Flex the right toes back towards your face as you inhale, reach the arms up. And then exhale, hinge and melt over that right thigh, chest to thigh, nose to knee, right toes peel back towards the crown of your head. Also an option to have that nice soft bend through that right leg if the backs of the hamstrings are really tight right now. One more breath on the side. Then as we inhale, slow roll all the way back up to your seat. We're gonna start to spiral over that left shoulder, plant that left hand down behind that left hip. Inhale as you point through the right toes, lift the right arm up, and then press into that left hand as you lift the hips and reach those right fingertips back behind you. One more big inhale. Exhale as you slow lower the hips all the way back down towards the earth. We'll spiral back around, lengthen the left leg out long, switching sides, bring that right thigh or right foot in towards that left thigh. Left toes are flexing back towards your face as you inhale, reach the arms up to the sky. Exhale as you start to fold forward, chest to thigh, nose to knee. Always an option to bend through that left leg. We're gonna find about 2 more breaths. And last breath here. Then on your next inhalation, slow roll all the way back up to your seat. Start to twist over that right shoulder. Right hand's gonna come down about 6 inches or so behind that right hip. Point through the left toes as you inhale, reach the left arm up, press into the right hand, lift the hips up. Little back bend, evening out. Last inhale. Exhale as you slow lower the hips all the way back down towards the earth. We're gonna lengthen that right leg out long, shake it out, sway it out, whatever you need to do. And then we're all gonna meet, we're gonna be horizontal on the mat how I am right now. So take your time, you're just gonna start to kind of turn over, so you're gonna be horizontal on the mat here. Nice. All right, and once we're there, we're gonna bend the knees, point the knees up to the sky. So then once we're here, we're gonna start to let your right leg fall right in front of you. You're gonna rock onto that right hip, swing the left leg back around behind you. So we're coming into our deer pose. So your right knee should be coming straight out from your right hip. Your leg should be parallel towards the side of your mat. Left knee should be coming straight out from the left hip or a little bit behind, and then your foot comes straight out from the knee. We just want to make sure both hips are grounding down towards the floor and you're not kind of sitting like this with that left hip lifted. So we want to make sure both hips grounded. And then the more space you have created in between the feet and the thighs, the more passive this is going to be. The more intense this will be if you hug your feet in really nice and close. So you can kind of play around with it a little bit. We're going to take this a little bit deeper. So if you have props in hand or props near you, maybe have it just like kind of near you before we go into this. We're going to inhale, press into the hands as you grow your spine super long up to the sky. Then as you exhale, we're going to start to twist over that right shoulder. So if you're like me, I'm really tight right now in the hips. I'm already feeling a stretch through this left hip flexor and through my left psoas. So once you start to feel that length through that left front side of the hip, you're going to start to melt down towards the floor. So you're going to feel the stretch lengthen all the way up into your psoas. Option to just stay here with straight arms. You can start to come down onto your forearms or elbows, or if you have a prop near you, you can always prop yourself up on a block, a book, a towel, a blanket, or some pillows. And then we're just going to kind of melt here. So each inhale, you want to keep lengthening the spine really long. Each exhale, you want to keep twisting over that right shoulder so we feel that stretch move from our left quad all the way up through the hip flexor, all the way into our psoas muscle, which are your deep belly muscles on either side of the belly button. And when your psoas is tight, usually your back is tight and usually your hips are tight as well. So we want to really try to breathe into the muscle here. Finding that wave-like breath once again, inhaling from the belly up, exhaling from the chest down. We're going to be here for just a little bit more time. So maybe notice if that left hip is starting to lift. If it is, you just want to kind of energetically draw it back down towards the floor as if gravity was pulling it back down. Let's find about 3 more breaths here. Last 2 breaths. Maybe you can go a little bit deeper. Last inhale and exhale. And on your next breath in, slow press yourself on up. Really nice and slow. Take your time as you slowly unwind and face back towards center. Once we're here, we're just going to take a moment to reset, redraw that left hip back down towards the earth, and just notice what you're feeling through this left side. For me, I'm feeling a lot of sensations, a lot of tingles, a lot of like good, juicy, stretchy feelings. So we're just going to kind of be present with that. Be present in the body. And then whenever you're ready, we're going to start to rock our weight onto that right hip. You're going to start to swing that left leg around. And then same thing, switch sides. Rock your weight onto that left hip. Lengthen the right leg out long. So both legs should just be lengthened out. We can kind of sway it out a little bit. Notice how the left side feels compared to the right. And then we're going to bend through both knees. Draw the knees up to the sky. So same thing, we're going to switch sides. Start to slide that left leg in front of you. So knees coming straight out from the hip. I always kind of just rock my weight onto that left hip so I can swing the other leg back behind me, so it's like super fluid and easy to do so. And then you can just kind of play around with it from here. The closer your feet are hugged in, the more intense of a posture this is going to be once we fold down. The further your legs are kind of open and spread out, a little bit more passive it's going to be through that right hip. So we want that right knee to be right in line with the hip or a little bit behind. We're going to inhale, start to press into the floor as you grow your spine long. Exhale as you start to twist over that left shoulder. Once you feel that length through that right hip flexor and right psoas muscle, we're going to start to melt down towards the floor. Again, you can prop yourself up just with straight arms and breathe. If you have a pillow, a block, a bolster, some blankets, you can use those to prop yourself up. And we're just going to maybe close the eyes and slow your breath here. Deep inhales through the nose, filling the lungs up with air, with space, with new life. Deep exhales. And again, noticing on this side, if that right hip is starting to lift up towards the sky, maybe back out of it a little bit and then redraw that right hip down towards the floor before you twist once more. Let's find about 3 more breaths wherever we're at. And also honoring if this side is a little bit different than the one before. For me, this side is always tighter than my left. So just honoring that, we're not passing any judgments. We're just using this as an opportunity to get to know ourselves a little bit better. We'll take 1 more breath. Then on your next inhale, you're going to press yourself on up. Slowly unwind as you twist back towards the front or towards the center. And again, we're just going to pause here, kind of reintegrate through this posture. Just let all of those sensations, all the tingles kind of flood in. And then whenever you're ready, rock your weight onto that left hip. We're going to sweep that right leg around. And then same thing, switching sides, rock your weight onto that right hip. Send the left leg out long. I always like to plant my hands back behind and then just shake it on out. All right. So now from here, we're going to open back into our straddle one last time. So let's open those legs back out into our widest straddle. And then once you're there, we're going to plant the hands down. I just bring one in front, one behind. And then you're going to inhale, lift the hips up and press the hips forward. So you're just going to kind of open into a little bit wider straddle. Maybe do it a couple times. I'm kind of a stickler about straddles because a lot of time we just kind of open the legs out and won't be that much of a stretch. So I always kind of challenge my students to kind of press the hips forward, open the legs a little bit wider if you can. If not, that's cool too. So we want to flex the toes back towards our face. This is going to be our deepest, widest straddle that we've taken so far in class. So flex those toes back to the face, bring the hands down, big inhale as you grow your spine super long. Exhale as you start to walk yourself down, finding your farthest variation of your straddle. So maybe this time you're way deeper than the first. Maybe you're still right where you were the first time. Either way, no judgments. We're just letting our body do what feels good. Two more big, long breath here. Really breathe into those inner thighs. Last time. Then on your next inhalation, you're slowly going to walk yourself all the way back up to your seat. Bring the hands behind the hips so that you can just slide those legs together. And same thing, shake it out, rock it out. All right, and now since we're all horizontal on the mat, we're just gonna kind of spiral those legs around, come into our tabletop, or we're gonna face towards the top of the mat. So shoulders are gonna stack right on top of the wrist, hips are gonna be right on top of the knees. Once we're here, let's just take a couple of cat and cows. So inhale as you drop the belly, lift the chest, throat, and gaze. Exhale as you round through the spine. 2 more times. Inhale, find that cow. Exhale, tilt the pelvis, press the floor away to find your cat. 1 more time, big inhale, arch the back, lift the chest. Exhale, round the spine. On your next inhalation, come back to that neutral spine. We're going to tuck the toes under and then inhale, send the hips straight up to the sky, coming into our downward facing dog. Once you're there, you can pedal out the feet. Maybe even shake the head yes and no. We're only going to be here for about 4 more breaths. So finding that length through the backs of the legs. Inhale to press the hips up to the sky. Exhale to draw the heels down towards the floor. Let's find 2 more big long breaths here. Last time, big long inhale and exhale. Then on your next inhalation, we're going to bend the knees, take a look at the hands, slowly walk 1 foot at a time, all the way up towards the top of the mat. Once you're here, feet are hip distance apart, rise up halfway, nice long spine. Exhale as you fold forward, bend through the knees, grab opposite elbows, let yourself hang, draw your chest to the thighs, maybe add that rock side to side. And then coming back to center, release your hands down towards the floor. Inhale, rise up halfway. Exhale as you plant the hands. Option to take a vinyasa if you're feeling a little spicy this morning. Otherwise, you're just going to step it all the way back to our downward facing dog. If you're taking that vinyasa, just join us in your downward dog whenever you're there. And once you're in down dog, you can pedal out the feet, maybe shake the head yes and no. We're going to find 2 more breaths. Last inhale and exhale. And on your next breath, then bend the knees, take a look at the hands, step, jump, or walk all the way up towards the top of the mat. Feet will be hip distance apart, rise up halfway. Exhale as you fold forward. Inhale as you bend through the knees, slow roll all the way up to standing. Your head's going to be the last thing to rise. Once we're there, we're going to meet with our hands. Actually, let's bring our hands into heart center. We're going to spread our feet about as wide as the mat. Toes are going to turn out, heels are going to turn slightly in. I'll turn and face you guys so you can see. So my feet are a little bit wider than hip distance. Again, everyone's range is going to be a little bit different here. Everyone's flexibility is going to be a little different. I like to create more space, so I always open my feet out kind of wide, turn the toes out. So hands are at heart center. Inhale as you draw your belly in towards the spine. Exhale as you start to squat down, coming into our malasana, coming into that yogi squat. So your triceps are going to connect towards those inner knees here, inner thighs. And again, if this does not feel good for you, once you drop all the way down, if you have a block, if you have a pillow, if you have a blanket, anything, you can just wedge it right underneath the seat. And you can use any of its sides, so its tallest side if you need, and you're just going to kind of rest on it. So your choice here, we only have 2 more breaths in Malasana, but we really opened up through those hips this morning, so they should feel really good to just kind of drop here. 1 last breath. All right, on your next inhale, press into the feet as you slowly rise all the way back up. And then let's heel toe our feet together to about hip distance apart. Inhale, reach the arms up to the sky, palms touch. Exhale as you fold forward. Inhale, rise up halfway. Exhale as you plant the hands, step it on back to our high plank. We're all going to take 1 vinyasa, option to drop the knees, but we'll inhale, rock forward. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, rise on up. Exhale as you press the hips up and back, downward facing dog. Pedal out the feet. 1 more breath in our downward dog. Then whenever you're ready, slowly drop the knees all the way down towards the earth. We're gonna bring our feet together, knees wide. Sink the hips back down towards the heels. Stretch the arms out long as you find your child's pose. Start to soften through your breath. Beautiful. Let's find one more long breath here. Then on your next inhalation, slowly begin to press yourself up. We're going to swing those legs around. Come onto our seat. Stretch the legs out long in front of us. Walk the flesh out from underneath your sits bones. Glue the legs together. Flex the toes back towards the face. Big inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale as you fold forward, chest to thighs, nose to knees. Toes are still peeling hard back towards your face. One more breath here in this forward fold. Paschimottanasana. On your next inhale, slowly roll all the way back up. Keep the legs glued together. You're going to point through the toes this time. So toes are pointing hard down towards the top of the mat. Big inhale, reach the arms towards the sky. Lengthen out. As you exhale, slowly fold forward, chest to thighs, nose to knees. Keep pointing those toes hard down towards the floor. One more breath, inhale. Exhale, fold. Then on your next inhalation, slow roll all the way back up. You can release through the feet, maybe shake it out. And then we're going to bend through the knees, scoot ourselves up to the top of the mat. Your feet are going to come to the top of the mat, seat's going to come to the middle of the mat. Grab onto the backs of the thighs as you slowly roll all the way down and hug your thighs in towards your chest. Give yourself a hug. Maybe use this time to close through the eyes. Draw the thighs in towards the chest. Whenever you're ready, you can reach down, grab onto the outsides of the feet. Draw your knees towards your armpits, find your happy baby pose. And then notice how this one feels compared to the first one we did in class. Hopefully hips should be a little bit more open, there should be a little bit more space. From here, start to hug the thighs back in towards the chest as you open your arms out to that goalpost position or the T of the arms. Just be mindful of your space around you. So keeping the thighs hugged in towards the chest, you can either come into that tabletop position and stay like this, or if you want a little bit deeper of a stretch, we're going to cross that left leg over the right. Then from here, so legs are either just side by side or left legs crossed on top. We're going to take an inhale, and then as you exhale, drop both legs over to the right side. Once you're there and settled in, shift your gaze over that left shoulder for a spinal twist. Maybe even closing the eyes here. One more breath on this side. Allow everything to soften. Then on your next inhalation, let the legs float back up to center. We'll uncross that left leg if you have it crossed. Legs are either in tabletop or we switch sides. Right leg crosses over the left. Take an inhale. And then as you exhale, allow the legs to fall over to the left side. Once you're all settled in, shift your gaze over that right shoulder to find our spinal twist. Maybe even soften the eyes so you signal to your body that your practice has almost come to an end and your body is slowing down for its final rest. Last breath. Then on your next inhalation, let the legs float back to center. Uncross the right leg if you have it crossed. Hug your thighs in towards your chest for one final hug. And then from here, we're going to take any last minute movements that you feel the body wants before we find our final resting pose. So maybe coming back into some of those postures in the beginning of class, maybe just drawing the feet down, pointing the knees up to the sky. Maybe you can come into a legs up the wall, maybe another hug or a happy baby. Or if you're feeling a little bit more spunky and spicy today and you want to take an inversion or maybe a back bend, you can do that as well. I'm going to hang out in legs up the wall for about 3 breaths. Last breath in and out, wherever you're at. And now taking your time, using your breath, we're going to slowly start to find our final resting pose by lengthening the legs out long to either side of the mat. Feet are going to be about as wide as the mat and let the ankles roll open naturally. Arms are going to come down by your side. Palms can be face up or face down, your choice. Now relax those shoulders away from the ears. Maybe even roll the shoulder blades underneath you so you feel the chest slightly lift. We'll soften through the eyes. Allow your breath to find its natural rhythm again. And we're going to be here for a little bit of time. There is nothing to do. There is nothing to change. And there is nothing to fix. All you have to do is rest and let go. And I'll let you know when it's time to rise. to invite movement back to your body. You can wiggle the fingers and toes, or circle the wrists and ankles. And then whenever you're ready, start to find your way onto your right side. Resting on your arm as a pillow in fetal position. And using the strength of your arms, slowly push yourself up to a comfortable seat. We'll meet with eyes closed and hands at heart center. Thumbs are plugging in towards the breastbone for one long line of energy. And once we're here, we'll take one final communal breath together. So let's all take a deep inhale through the nose. Hold it at the top, find one more little sip of air. And exhale, sigh it out, make a noise. Thank you all for joining me today and sharing your light, your presence, your power, and your practice. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day wherever you are. And from the honey of my heart to each of yours, namaste.